Welcome to current affairs discussion. Okay. Your name? I forgot. Bhavya. Okay. Yeah. Add one point from online also. Okay. Why do we need ASEAN? Totally how many countries in the ASEAN? 10 countries in the ASEAN. Okay. So firstly, those grouping you might be aware. Okay. So manaki a block edaithe undo India ke borders lo, what are those blocks are there? So Myanmar, Thailand, if you go based on the way the conflict that is happening, okay, Thailand, Cambodia, and then which one is a landlord? Laos, Vietnam. This is one block. Okay, here itself we have the Singapore, Malaysia and Indonesia come side by side. Okay, and then Philippines and Brunei. Easy. So these are the 10 countries. Okay, keep adding through online as well. Okay, let's brainstorm. We'll try to do in a proper manner. Okay, tell me through which declaration ASEAN came into the picture. ASEAN came into the picture through which declaration? What is the declaration I gave you in the notes? Washington, Beijing, Bangkok. Out of three, which one? Which declaration? No. How come Beijing in the ASEAN? Simple logic. Okay. Easy part I gave you. 1967 Bangkok Declaration. Okay. ASEAN works through consensus or through voting power. How the ASEAN works? Online. ASEAN works through consensus, decision making, or through majority voting. Ilage, I want you guys to study at home. Okay, then you will be able to recall and retain things for long. Tell me, Anjali, Teekshan, Nikhil. They work through consensus. Very important point. Consensus based decision making, where economies have grown. That's why. Okay. So tell me, from when India started to involve with the ASEAN? From when onwards? After 1960, 70, 80, 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020. From when onwards are we building the relationships with the ASEAN? When was the Look East policy initiated? India and ASEAN. Okay, after 1991, where we have gone for the LPG reforms. Then only we have opened our economy for the ASEAN countries. Then we have started the Look East policy. Look East policy, right? Could you guys recall? Yeah, we have done this thing, Look East policy. So before 1991, we were having the inward looking policy. Inward looking policy means we have closed economies. We were not trading, we were not globalizing with the external world. Primarily it was inward looking policy, primarily driven by the PSUs. Our own Indian companies were driving the economy. There was very less private participation, there was very less globalization, there was very less liberalization happening. So far, is this clear? Anjali, Nikhil, online, Bhumika, Srija. Okay. So this was the scenario in the 1991. Then we have made a free trade agreement in the 2008 free trade agreement. Then we have expanded our free trade agreement to the comprehensive economic partnership agreement. So which includes not just trade in the goods and services, but also investments. We have elaborated our trade agreement, liberalization of the regime. So this is the basic background behind the India and the ASEAN, right? So far, is this clear? Everyone online? Siva, Teekshan, Anjali, Nikhil, online, keep responding. So are we clear? Okay. So now you guys brainstorm and tell me why ASEAN is important for India. Okay, trade. We have opened up economy for the trade purposes, especially especially as USA is imposing protectionist policies, we need more markets, right? We want more markets. We want more markets. What else? Simply one thing is trade. What else? Why do we need ASEAN? Add more points. I want at least 6 points. Market, raw material. Border? With whom? Who? Why is it a concern? Why is it a concern for India? Bhumika, tell me, what is the oil? Very good. Resources. This should be the heading. Oil and natural gas. Where? Where is the oil and natural gas? In which ocean? Which sea? Within the Pacific, which sea? Primarily. Oil and natural gas present in primarily which? Very good. South China Sea. And you also have the polymetallic nodules. Polymetallic nodules, especially consisting of copper and the manganese. Copper and the manganese. Besides, what else? Oil seeds, palm oil from Indonesia, coconut oil. We have seen this thing. Coconut oil, palm oil from Indonesia, Philippines. We have seen this. Coconut. Link it with your current affair. This is how we are studying. Palm oil from Indonesia, Philippines. What else? Tell me, add me more resources. Come on, keep adding. Add more content. Okay, we have drawn 2 points. So for what else we need? Okay, resources we have done. Sonia, for what else we need? The ASEAN. That's it. Only 2. Think. In the resources part, Myanmar. What else resources you have? Hardwood. We import hardwood from the Myanmar. Okay. What else is important? Myanmar is important to us. For what reason? We have discussed. We have discussed something with Myanmar. Boundary is fine. Through what? We have the boundary with the Myanmar. So we are using it for what? ठीक है, border security, but I want connectivity. This is a point. Connectivity to our northeast. We have discussed this thing in the previous session also. India, Myanmar, Thailand Trilateral Highway, Kaladan Multimodal Project. Kaladan Multimodal Project. Have we discussed this thing or not? Kaladan Multimodal Project. Kaladan Multimodal Project. Since Bangladesh is, see you guys, if you guys are going blank, that I feel I have not done anything. Okay, please. It does really any use చేయరు. Little bit revision చేయాల్సిందే. లేకపోతే నిజంగా అంటే నేను 1 year 2 years ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసిన జీరో యూస్. డెఫినెట్లీ ఏం యూజ్ ఉండదు. అంటే మీరు కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ని ప్రయారిటైజ్ చేయకపోతే నేను ఇంత స్ట్రెస్ పెట్టి వాట్ ఈస్ ద యూస్? ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఆస్కింగ్ టూ మచ్, జస్ట్ 2 classes. క్లాస్ అయిపోయిన వెంటనే యూ రివైజ్ ఫర్ 1 hour. సండే 1 hour. క్లాస్లో లైక్ ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ వాచింగ్ ద క్లాస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వేస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద టైం. మీరు రివిజన్ చేయకపోతే ఇదంతా మర్చిపోతారు. క్వశ్చన్ ఇందు నుంచి వస్తుంది, పక్కా వస్తుంది, గ్యారంటీ వస్తుంది. బట్ మనకి రీటైన్ అవ్వాలి. ఓకే, సో డోంట్ వరీ, డోంట్ ఫీల్ స్ట్రెస్. Just I'm focusing to revise. I'm asking just when I raise the questions, you guys will realize how much we have done and how you have to revise. This is the way. Finally, when you revise, this is how single page revision happens. Why ASEAN is important for us. Okay, Kaladan Multimodal Project. see the headings, how I am using connectivity. If you guys can see. Okay, see here. Resources, then trade. Okay, so connectivity. Now let's get into the next heading. Once again. Okay, see, we are discussing the why ASEAN. Okay, can someone revise what is ASEAN? ASEAN is a collective group of how many countries? 10 countries. Okay, what is the declaration through which ASEAN has come into the force? Bangkok Declaration. They work through principles of consensus. Okay, India has opened its negotiations with ASEAN after which year? 1990. Okay, through the which policy? Look East. Okay, after 2014, we have started the Act East policy to further strengthen our cooperation with them. We have signed a 2008 free trade agreement and then we have made it comprehensive. Now we are discussing why the relationship with ASEAN is important. So first thing is trade. Now Trump is imposing tariffs on us. So they are following the protectionist policies. Protectionist policy means they are imposing the taxes on the items that are being imported into that country. That means our exports will suffer. We need more markets. That's why we are looking for the different markets, new raw materials. That is the trade is the most important point. Resources. South China Sea has good resources, oil and natural gas. That South China Sea also has the polymetallic nodules. Polymetallic nodules are found on the deep sea ocean floor. When you dive, when you hit the ocean bottom, okay, there you have the polymetallic nodules. Okay, this is on the abyssal plains. The final deep dive when you take and when you hit the rock bottom of the sea floor, that is called the abyssal plains. You will study this thing in the ocean bottom topography, continental shelves, continental slopes, and the abyssal plains. Maybe in the NCERT you might have seen this thing already. Continental shelves, slopes, and the abyssal plains. On the abyssal plains, you have the polymetallic nodules, which is primarily copper, manganese, these things. India imports the copper. Copper is a good conductor of the electricity. We need in all the electronic manufacturing copper. Where do we find copper in India? Which is that mines? Which mines in India you will find the copper? Especially, I am giving you a hint, that is a desert area. In the Aravallis, K3 mines. Okay. So, resources, then connectivity to northeast. Next class, please revise the Kala multimodal project. Now we will do the security. Now here someone are saying to settle the border security. Like you have the problems of this Nagas, issues of the Nagas, cookies, those problems, and Nikhil has mentioned golden triangle through which all your organized crime happens. Then think broader. Think broad. Next one, major point. Think why ASEAN is more important. Think beyond India. Consensus means we are taking decisions with mutual consent of everyone. Okay, that is called consensus. Okay, it is not based on the voting. Okay, everyone has to agree for the decision. Everyone should say yes. Everyone should say no. That is called consensus-based decision making. Not the voting. Voting does not happen. Geostrategic reasons. When I say geostrategic means, geo means geography. That geography, what strategic means? Something which has long-term implications, broader, wider implications. Why ASEAN is such a huge, broader implication? For what? Think. Tell me why the ASEAN is having such a broader significance for us. Tell me, to control what? To control whom? To cooperate with whom? Think what is the countries nearby in that area. Why only one person is able to say that answer? China. ఎన్నిసార్లు మనం డిస్కస్ చేసామండి. చైనా కానివ్వండి, వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ మలక్కా స్ట్రైట్, సుండా స్ట్రైట్, మలక్కా స్ట్రైట్, సుండా స్ట్రైట్. To control the China, to control the sea lanes of communication. So many ships pass through, especially for the China. The trade happens through this Malacca Strait and the Sunda Strait. Huh? This is not. See here, ఇదేనా మనం సౌత్ చైనా సీ ఇప్పుడు మాట్లాడుకుంటుంది. See, these are the countries I was talking about: ASEAN, Burma, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia. This part is Vietnam, and then this is a Malaysia, and here you have the Indonesia. This is a Brunei, and then you have this part. Okay, so even these are the islands. This is the strait I was talking about, and this is the another Sunda Strait. So manaki all the ships, they enter through this area, and in this South China Sea they have the dispute. China has the disputes with all these countries, with the Philippines and all these things, all these countries. Store in the, could you guys recall? Strait of Hormuz. Sai Vamshi, Strait of Hormuz ekkada nunchi vachindi cheppandi. Strait of Hormuz ekkada? So here, this thing, that's the reason. See, this is the part of the your organized crime where this thing happens. Okay, the organized crime happens in this area. Golden triangle. When I say the golden triangle, this part. Here you have the China, South China Sea dispute. This is the resources part that I was talking about. And movement of the ships from here. This Andaman Sea and our Andaman Islands is close, very close to this part. So that's why again, your Sumatra Island. This is the Sumatra Island. This is the Java Island. The Sumatra Islands is very close to our Andaman Islands. So that's why for strategic purposes also they become very important for us. We need to have the proper control. Yes, Strait of Hormuz is Arabian thing. Okay. So have you understood the geostrategic reason? And see, that is a very fundamental, very, very fundamental. నిజంగా నాకు ఏం రెస్పాండ్ అవ్వాలి అర్థం కాక నేను అక్కడికి వచ్చినాను. నాకు అది ఇప్పుడు మీకు ఎలా అయితే అని అనిపిస్తుంది, నాకు అరే నాకు నా మీద క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుంది వెన్ సమ్ ఫండమెంటల్ క్వశ్చన్ చెప్పకపోతే. నిజంగా నాకు అరే నేను ఎంత కష్టపడుతున్నాను, నాకు ఎక్కడ స్టూడెంట్స్ రెస్పాండర్స్ రావట్లేదు ఏంటి అన్నది నాకు ఫీలింగ్ వస్తుంది. అలా అయితే ఎవరితో ఒకరితో నేను కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ చెప్పించవచ్చు కదా, నేనే ఇంత ఎఫర్ట్ తీసుకొని నేను ఎందుకు వస్తాను? బికాస్ దిస్ ఈస్ అ వెరీ సిగ్నిఫికెంట్. ప్లీజ్ ఫోకస్. కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ ఇస్ అ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండ్ క్రూషియల్ పార్ట్. I'm putting efforts for this. You can see in the material and notes. I'm trying to improve the still ఇంకా దాని మీద ఇంకా ఏమి ఇంప్రూవైజేషన్ చేయాలో నేను ఆలోచిస్తాను. దిస్ పార్ట్ ఈజ్ హెవీ కానీ నెగ్లెక్ట్ చేయకూడదు. దిస్ ఈజ్ అ కాంప్లిమెంటరీ ఫర్ యువర్ జనరల్ స్టడీస్. బోత్ హ్యాస్ టు గో సైడ్ బై సైడ్. ఒకటి మిస్ అయినా వర్కౌట్ కాదు. ఓన్లీ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ చేసినా వర్కౌట్ కాదు, ఓన్లీ జిఎస్ వర్కౌట్ చేసినా వర్కౌట్ కాదు. ఓకే, ఇది రెండు సైడ్ బై సైడ్ వెళ్లాల్సిందే. అప్పుడే దెన్ మీకు కనెక్షన్స్ ఫిట్ అవుతాయి. లేకపోతే ఇది ఎందుకు జరుగుతుంది, అది ఎందుకు జరుగుతుంది అన్నది అర్థం కాదు. ఓకే, ప్లీజ్ ట్రై టు రివైజ్. సో క్లియర్ దిస్ పార్ట్. సౌత్ చైనా సీ, present South China Sea is a dispute. Have we not done the South China Sea in detail? South China Sea dispute గురించి 9-degree dash line, 11-degree dash line, what are the countries involved, various islands that are in the disputes. Okay, we have seen that thing. IR లో మనం చాలా వెళ్ళిపోయాం. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి మనకి ఎందుకు ఈ ఫిలిప్పీన్స్ మనకి ఇంపార్టెంట్. Philippines is in dispute with the China. China is supporting the Pakistan. Now we are supplying our BrahMos to the Philippines. We For our defense purposes, for our markets, trade lo manam trade marketing annama, Philippines, they are purchasing, Brunei is purchasing our BrahMos, our defense products. So we are getting good money and we are also able to control the China in this area. Okay, so this is a most important aspect. See here, she is also saying this. ఇంకేమున్నాయి? Is there any point you guys can recall? So disaster management lo, because this area is known for Pacific Ring of Fire. Pacific Ring of Fire. This is the area of the convergence of plates. This area is known for the earthquakes, tsunamis. Recently, Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia has experienced a earthquake, huge earthquake. There is a see this area entire. This is the your Alaska part of your USA. Alaska is the 50th state of USA, and this is your Russia, Far East Russia, and this is your Kamchatka Peninsula. This entire area is a convergent plate boundary. Convergent means plates are converging. We will study this thing in the geography. Circum-Pacific Belt was also asked in the UPSC mains. This area, these plates are converging. Here also, these plates are converging. Wherever the convergence is happening, two plates are colliding with each other. This area is known for huge amount of volcanoes and earthquakes. Okay, wherever there is a ocean, water is present, only there you will get the volcanoes. In India also, you have the Indian plate and European plate convergence, but there is no water available in between. So that is the final stage. So there you will not get the volcanoes, only earthquakes. Here there is a ocean. See here. So this entire trenches, wherever there is a convergence, there are the trenches. This area is known for the huge amount of the tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes because of the movement. So that's why we are in the need of these ASEAN countries for the disaster management. Not just this, even for the environmental management, management of the oceanic resources. Again, we need the ASEAN. And again, Indonesia, Malaysia, they have the huge Muslim population. Again, for our stability of the maintaining of the secularism, diversity principles, in order to get the support of the Muslim countries to handle the Pakistan, we need Indonesia and the Philippines. So are we clear? So disasters and people to people contact. Here in the people to people contact, you will talk about not just cultural coordination, because they are also cultural coordination. Thailand, that Shiva temple, which is the temple that was in dispute between Thailand and Cambodia. In the previous class we have discussed. It starts with P. Pickle is also there. Which Pachadi? Famous Pachadi. Priya Vihar temple. See, our Cholas, they had the very strong navy. That's why our PM praises this Cholas, because they are known for local governance and also huge strong navy, and they have constructed good amount of the temples in the Southeast Asia. And our Indians also are there as a Indian origin people. Okay, so people to people contact, temple construction, and good Muslim population. See, totally 7 points. I will ask in the next class. All the 7 points should be on tips. Yeah, El Nino and La Nina. All the 7 points should be on tips. Along with the proper clarity on the Kaladan multimodal project, which I have given already in the notes, and also South China Sea dispute. I have given already the content. So you should have the proper clarity. Just I am revising what is the South China Sea dispute. Let me show you the South China Sea dispute. See, this was a map I gave. See this? Spratly Islands, Parcel Islands, Scarborough Islands. If you see this red dot line, China is considering all this entire South China Sea as their own lake. Just like your Vembanad Lake, Astamudi Lake. They call this is our territory, this is the lake in our territory. Then the Philippines, the Indonesia, the Malaysia, Vietnam, Malaysia, everyone they are fighting with even the Taiwan. They are saying, no, you can't claim all this thing. Okay, now even for the India, the rules based order is very important because our ships move from this area. So you are claiming this entire area. They will call Parcel Islands, Spratly Islands, Scarborough Shoal is in the news in which sea. They are being claimed by the China. Okay, even the Permanent Court of Arbitration has said this China cannot claim all the territory. That is a 11-degree dash line. They are claiming through the 11-degree dash line the entire South China Sea. Okay, so see here, these are the disputed islands they have given. I gave you all these things in the news. Why see here, China claims the far largest portion of the territory in area demarcated by the so-called 9-degree dash line. Now they have released a new degree dash line that is called the 11-degree dash line. Based on the 9 when they see here in also not clear whether China claims only land territory within 9-degree or all the maritime space within as well. So they are trying to flex their muscles. India always wants a rules-based order. We do not want arbitrariness. We want rules-based order. So that's why we support these countries. So are we clear? Next class, will you guys come revised the ASEAN, South China Sea, Kaladan multimodal project, which we have already done. What? Everyone in the class, everyone should do that. Same yes. Now we have done the free trade agreement with the China. Tell me the issues. Online. Anirudh. Tell me yes, Sonia. Shiva. Everyone should say yes. Nandini. Why so late? Tell me issues with the free trade agreement. We have done with the ASEAN. We have done the free trade agreement. Currently, discussions and negotiations are going on. More than 10 rounds of sittings have been done with the free trade agreement, renegotiations with the ASEAN. In the last class, I stopped with the same content. This is, I think, third or fourth time I am discussing this free trade agreement renegotiation. Less tariffs on the cars. Firstly, rules of origin. See, firstly, the problem is we have trade deficit with them. We could not benefit the way they are benefited. So we have the trade deficit. Then rules of origin. They are sending the Chinese items through these 10 countries. So that's why we want to make sure the Chinese items, we do not include the China in those 10 countries. So, but somehow Chinese products are entering into India. So we need to identify, we need to provide the rule of origin, from where it is originating. So that we need to have the proper rules so that we know. First of all, they are bringing the raw material from the China and they are manufacturing little bit, some changes, some manufacturing changes they are making in the Philippines or Myanmar or Asia and all. They are sending it to the India. Okay, they are saying that is not a Chinese product, but that is not the true. Okay, so we need to have the devise the rule of origin. Okay, then inverted duty structure we have discussed. So when we import the raw material, the cost is high, but when we import the final product, the cost is low. For suppose when you import the rare earth metals, raw materials, the cost is very high, but when you import the electronics, raw material, electronics, mobiles, gadgets, the price is overall low. So we don't want this concept. So that's why we are negotiating. And there are also concerns that our agriculture industry is suffering. Okay, some of the products, because of the entry of their things, we want to renegotiate. And they are also imposing non-tariff barriers, sanitation, phytosanitation, some health, hygiene. They are saying all these things and they are imposing the non-tariff barriers. Tariff means tax. Barriers means restrictions. For suppose when you are exporting the items, they can impose tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers. Tariff barriers, they'll say, we will impose customs duty 10%, 5%, 15%. They have reduced them. But non-tariff barriers, like see, your quality is not good. Sanitation, it's not good. Phytosanitation measures, hygiene is not that level. Okay, the standards are not that good. So they are imposing non-tariff barriers. So we are in negotiations with these non-tariff barriers as well. That's it. So negotiation is going on. So are we clear so far? So what is, so when we say Act East, this is a 2014. Already we have the same policy of Look East, from Look East to Act East. So what is the difference? Here primarily focus is on the trade, economy. So these factors. Here not just the trade, defense cooperation, geostrategic, action. Okay, this is more action oriented, more action means do it, take steps. Here they are more policy oriented. There are policies, but it is converted to the action. Okay. So here we are talking about, okay, basically the same policy, we are making sure that they are put on the paper. Okay. Here we are also targeting them as a defense market also. Market for our defense products. Clear? Non-tax. Tariff means tax. Non-tariff means beyond tax. Sanitation, phytosanitation, it can be anything. You are putting the restrictions, only this many you can import from India, not more than that. Something, any restriction beyond tax is called non-tariff barrier. Basically, restrict products. Clear? See, question pakka area నుంచి వస్తుంది. Okay, మీకు ఐఆర్ నుంచి రావచ్చు, geography నుంచి రావచ్చు, ఎక్కడి నుంచి రావచ్చు. But you should prepare in this holistic manner. So we have done. See, next time నేను అడిగినప్పుడు ఇట్లా ఏ సబ్జెక్ట్ కాన్సెప్ట్ రివిజన్ చేయకపోతే ఏముంది, మీరే ఫ్రస్ట్రేట్ అయ్యి మళ్ళీ క్లాస్ చెప్పుకుంటారంటారు. చెప్పాలి. See, I will be happy. So I'll get more energy if you guys really respond well. So that will be my motivating factor. That will be my incentive. Okay, please you guys have to do revise. Okay, మీకు చాలా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇందులో నుంచి వస్తాయి. See, మొన్ననే ఇక్కడ ఈ కంచట్కా పెనిన్సులా ఉందా? So this is a part. This part has met with the your earthquake. So they are saying, studies are saying this part is getting separated from the Russia. So this, if you see now currently in the Alaska, the meeting between the Trump and the Putin is going on. See these Aleutian Islands. Okay, so these are also very important. And here you have this area. Okay, if you see this, you see from here you are moving into the Japan. Okay, some of the here there are some islands which are having in dispute with the Russia. What are those islands? The islands, not the Aleutian Islands. What are those islands? I think Kuril Islands. Kuril. Kurile. Kurile. Kuril Islands. Let's see. Let me go through. These are the islands that are in disputes with the Japan. See, the point is, I'm trying to communicate that these things are in a lot of news. See, this is the peninsula I was talking about. Okay, Kuril Islands. Okay, this is the Sakhalin Islands. Again, this is a part of your Russia. Our ONGC is going and exploring the oil and natural gas in that area. Sakhalin is very important for oil and natural gas. This is the part that is experienced the earthquakes, and this Kuril Island, this is the Japan, part of the Japan. This entire islands are the part of the Japan. If you see here, South Korea, North Korea. North Korea is a backward one, South Korea is the most developed one. Okay, and this is the disputed territory between the Japan and the Russia. Here you have the Japan and here you have the Russia. Sakhalin is a part of the Russia, known for the oil and natural gas. This part entire is the east part is the far east part of the Russia. Okay, this entire area is known for these earthquakes and the volcanoes because this is a part of what one? Which one? Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire. Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire. So far, are we clear? Next time, if I ask Kamchatka Peninsula, Sakhalin Islands, Kuril Islands, these three I'll ask. Okay, and these are the Aleutian Islands. There are Aleutian Islands that are divided between the USA and the Russia. Aleutian Islands. This is the Bering Sea. Here you will have the Bering Strait also. Remember this for the mapping. Bering Sea, Sea of Okhotsk, Sakhalin, Kuril Islands. Okay, you can later on again go through this thing. Sea of Japan. If you go south, you will have the South China Sea. This part, this Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei. This part's important for the mapping too, for the prelims and the mains. See, generally students, what mistake they do is they don't study in the analytical point of view. If you have to just directly going for the prelims and studying in a factual point, it becomes very difficult for you to remember. Now we are studying in a conceptual manner, in a logical manner. We are trying to connect the importance. This makes your understanding very easy. Are we clear? That's why this is a part of the Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire. The convergence of the plate boundaries are happening. This is the area of the plate margins where two plates are converging. You will study in detail in the geography class. Yes, cyclones, that is a different reason because the Bay of Bengal, the Pacific Ocean is very vast, very wider. The more the expansion of the ocean, there will be better possibility for the cyclones to develop. Initially, small depressions will happen, but the depressions has to grow in size to become the cyclone. The Pacific is such a huge size, so that's why, and warming is also very good in the Pacific Ocean, so these depressions will develop into the cyclone. This is based on the arrangement. Okay, so how in deep is there? There is a gulf. Bay means it is not that in depth. The bay topography is there. This is it. So good. So మీరు ఇక్కడే టైం తీసేసుకుంటాం అంటే ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు గో ఇంటు ద మోర్ టాపిక్స్. మీరు రివిజన్ చేయకపోతే ఇక్కడ నాకు అంత టైం పెట్టాల్సి వస్తుంది. See, this is the topic that was supposed to be completed in the previous class itself. Previous class లో కూడా నేను లాస్ట్ లో ఇదే టాపిక్ తీసుకున్నాను. అక్కడ కూడా ఎవరు రెస్పాండ్ చేయాలి, మళ్ళీ ఈ క్లాస్ లో కూడా నేను ఇదే టాపిక్ తీసుకోవాల్సి వస్తుంది. సో ట్రై టు రివైజ్. ఓకే, దీన్ని గో త్రూ చేయండి మళ్ళీ. ఓకే, మళ్ళీ సింగపూర్ దీంట్లో చిన్న ఒక పార్ట్ మోస్ట్ డెవలప్. ఎందుకంటే వై ద సింగపూర్ ఈస్ డెవలప్డ్ అంటే what is that word? So basically, we are also trying to develop that level of port-based location in the what are those islands? Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Every ship moving through this area, they will stop here. Okay, for the loading purposes, unloading purposes, refueling purposes and all. That's why this Singapore, they are charging more, and this is a crossroad kind of thing. So they are getting a good value for them. They are able to develop that facilities there. Okay, so that's how the Singapore has developed to that level of economy. These are called as a tiger economies. I have told you. Okay, Singapore, Malaysia, this parts, Brunei. Okay, your South Korea, Philippines, all these are the. Okay, so here this is the Indonesia. Okay, within this Indonesia itself, you have can you see here? This is the part Brunei. Okay, these are the islands of the Indonesia: Sumatra, Java, Borneo Island. Okay, and this pink part are the your Philippines Island. Just small piece. Okay, this again you have the Malaysia. Thailand is coming from there. Myanmar has stopped here itself. This is the disputed part. Thailand and the Cambodia. We have seen this Priya Vihar. Okay, that is a temple that is present here, and this Laos is a landlocked. Go through them again and again. We have done your IR one part is done. We have done the Philippines. I have given a material, but I have not given the explanation where we are talking. We have recently developed a strategic partnership with the Philippines. Why Philippines is again important for us? Why we have recently made again the same thing to control the China geostrategic reason, because to explore the resources of the South China Sea. You don't have to study again solely with the Philippines. Firstly, defense market, we are supplying our products. Second thing, strategic, long term, when we have the strong relationships, maritime route, and then when we have the strong relationships with the Philippines, we will be able to control the China. Okay, so that's why we are in the process of building the strong ties with the Philippines. See this part: significance, strategic, economic, connectivity, defense and security, cultural, financial, okay, broader significance, trade relationships I have given, issues, rule of origin, inverted duty tariff, okay, and then non-tariff barriers, other challenges. Okay, so totally we have discussed 9 round of talks. And India, Myanmar, Thailand, trilateral highway. Okay, so this Moreh to Mesot in the Thailand via Myanmar to enhance the connectivity. And then we also have the Kaladan multimodal project. These are the important aspects that you need to know. Clear? Are we clear? Okay. So now we are getting into the next topic. Now, only if you guys can take, then only I will be able to add. See here. Now we are going to talk about the groundwater. Why the groundwater is very important. But within the geography, you have the resources as a unit. Resources, within the resources, water resources is most important. See here, you have, this is the total global water distribution. This is a 96% of 97% nearly it is in the ocean, salt water. Okay. Within this, only 2.5% is the fresh water. Now, out of this 2.5%, glaciers and ice cap cover the 68%. And then rest is groundwater 30% and the surface water is only 1.2%. You can see here. So 97 you can't use. Ocean, saline water, only 2.5% is available for you for the drinking purposes. Within the 2.5 also, 70% again is in the form of glaciers. You can't use. Only 30% and again 1% surface water, rivers, lakes and the groundwater. Primarily for your agriculture and irrigation, for the drinking water purposes and the agriculture purposes, primarily 80% of the groundwater is utilized. Major source of the water for drinking and the irrigation. Agriculture is the first source is the Zoom open chesi aadukuntunnaru, drawing chestunnaru, class anukunda. Melt అయితే ఫ్రెష్ వాటర్ యాడ్ అవుతుంది. So this percentage was asked once in the prelims. So 97 is a ocean, 2.5 is a fresh water. Within the fresh water, within the 2.5%, 68% is covered in the glaciers, 30 is groundwater, 1.2 is the surface and the water. So now this 30% of the groundwater is getting affected. So question is going to be asked for sure. your water, this groundwater is very important. Now, how this thing is getting affected? If you see here, if you can see here, see fluorosis. Okay, why these groundwaters? Let's come back. Okay, firstly, let me come back in a proper orderly manner. See, this is the water scenario. In previously, we used to have more than 5,000 cubic meter per year per person water availability. This was a scenario of the water availability, but this water availability is continuously going down. Now, somewhere we are here. Currently we are in the water stress condition. If you go less than this red line, less than 1,000 cubic meter per person availability, we will get in the water scarcity. So according to the NITI Aayog, we will enter into this water scarcity area by 2040. So we are going to severely get affected. See this. Okay, see by 2050, this is what expected. So this is continuously growing down. If you go beyond this, okay, so from here Navya will throw stones for the water. Okay, from there Nandini will attack. Okay, we want water. Okay, like the water wars will happen here. Okay, so like this. So that's why water scarcity, we should not let that happen. Okay, the water resources in India, surface water 2.4. Totally, we have 4% of the world's water resources, but population is 16%. Annual precipitation, this much happens, but that annual precipitation is not able to recharge your groundwater in rivers because they are flowing very faster. You are clearing the forest. That's why we have discussed the runoff is increasing. So this factual data, you got the clarity. Now I'm not getting into the surface water, I'm getting into the groundwater. How do you get the groundwater? See here, the water will flow in that area. This is the water table. Okay, this area is always saturated zone. The saturated zone, the upper layer is the unsaturated zone. Here, the water will be stored. Where does the water get stored? Not in every rocks, every area. Those rocks which are porous and permeable. Only the rocks which has two things: porosity, permeability. When the rocks have the porosity and the permeability. Porosity means the rocks have the pore spaces to absorb the water. Permeability means the rocks are connected to each other. These pores are connected to each other. That's how these aquifers will be able to absorb the water and allow the movement of the water to flow through in the groundwater table. Okay, some areas are always filled with the water. Some areas are filled with the waters occasionally. So areas which are always filled with the water are called the saturated zones. Within the groundwater, you have saturated zones, always filled with the water, and the upper layer is the unsaturated zones. Unsaturated zones. And they are dependent upon the properties called porosity and the permeability. Porosity plus permeability. Now, different rocks have the different porosity and permeability. The rocks which are sedimentary, loose unconsolidated rocks have more porosity and permeability. The rocks which are very hard, ancient, crystalline, have poor porosity and permeability. Like your granite, andesite, those things. Some rocks develop the fissures, cracks, faults, cracks. So they have the partial storage of the groundwater. Partial stores of groundwater. So here less groundwater, here more groundwater, here moderate groundwater. Now the sedimentary rocks basically are loose unconsolidated rocks, generally your Gangetic plains, Brahmaputra plains, your coastal areas where river is depositing loose unconsolidated sediments. So these are the areas that are known for the huge groundwater. This, your plateaus, your mountainous areas, batholith areas, okay, very hard rocks, Okay, not this one, very hard rocks. Generally Tamil Nadu, even your Deccan Plateau, okay, some parts down deep bottom, you don't have any kind of groundwater. Not Rajasthan, okay, these areas. Okay, Rajasthan is also basically the eastern part, especially comes under the part of the plain. That area got desertified because of the deposition of the sand. Okay, these are the Aeolian deposits. That area will have the groundwater, but because of the dry condition, aquifers do not have any water. Okay, so that is the scenario. There is no rainfall at all. That got desertified. Okay, wherever the river depositions are happening, Rajasthan is basically plains. Okay, we are the eastern part of the Aravalis. They are primarily the plains. Rajasthan plains. Marusali is the desert. The eastern part is your Bagara plains. Those areas can have water, but that area is dry. And this basaltic area, especially within the some parts of your Deccan Plateau, some parts is known as a this Deccan Trap area. There basaltic deposition has happened. Those areas have the decent groundwaters, like say the areas because of the faults. That's how they have constructed the tank irrigation. That's how your Kakatiyas, they are focusing on your tank irrigation. Okay, mission, what is that mission Kakatiya? So we are trying to revive the same ancient tanks. So because of the secondary nature, so they are able to develop the cracks. So primarily you have the pores like this. Okay, this is how groundwater gets stored. These are generally found in the areas of your Gangetic plains, deltas, these things. This is the first scenario. In the second scenario, they have developed the cracks. Okay, cracks like this. So water gets stored there, like tanks. Naturally, just like tanks, they are found. These are generally found in your basaltic plateau areas. Okay, hard rocks beneath your mountains, your core part of your Tamil Nadu, Rayalaseema. These are ancient crystalline rocks, hard crystallines. There is no any kind of pores and permeability, so that water stores in them. So these areas are good for the groundwater. These areas are poor for the groundwater. These areas have some kind of storages, especially in the form of tanks. So basically, we go for, in this area, construction of the bore wells, tube wells, and here you go for the tank irrigation. We also go for the canal irrigation wherever the rivers are very good. Are we clear so far? Please ask any doubts if you have. Lithosphere is up to 100 kilometers. We are not even talking about till 100 kilometers. Just little top layer, that's all. Okay, we can say within the crust, continental crust, few upper layers, we have the water. Even crust can go as deep as continental crust, can go as deep as even 60-70 kilometers. Groundwater can't go that deep. Somewhere initial 1-2 kilometers. Lithosphere means deep 100 kilometers. So are we clear? Okay. 130 kilometers. Huh? No way. 130 kilometers. The deepest mining we have so far is 13 kilometers. 13. Okay. It would be hardly 130 meters, could be 130 kilometers. Not possible. So moderate groundwater create rocks. Secondary fusions, cracks will create. So let me revise. So your groundwater depends upon the porosity and the permeability. Porosity means holes. Permeability means connection towards the holes. Okay. The rocks which have this porosity and permeability generally we call the aquifers. These are the rocks which hold the groundwater. Always, some areas always hold the water. That is called the saturated zone. Some areas not always have the water. See here, your groundwater depends upon the porosity, permeability. Your groundwater, the rocks that hold the groundwater is called the aquifers. Okay. Now, some areas are always having the water. These are the saturated zones. They are always having the water. The layers above the saturated zone is the unsaturated water. Means sometimes they have the water, sometimes they do not have the water, like this. Now see the diagram. See here, the upper layer is unsaturated zone. Maybe sometimes it might get filled with water, but this area, this is a saturated zone. These are the aquifers. Between these rocks, the water got trapped. So this is how you have the groundwater. Now see, for suppose this is a fractured rock. You have asked what is the moderate area. Now see, the rocks got fractured. The water got trapped in these areas. Especially the basalt. The basalt is known for the more erosion. Basaltic rocks is more known for the river erosion. So you have this Harishchandra ranges, Balaghat ranges in the Deccan Plateau. That is nothing but the erosion, differential cutting of the your plateau has led into the ridge and valley kind of topographies. So this is how you have this thing. Groundwater fills the spaces between the soil particle and fractured rocks. There is these things. Okay, that is a part that you have to know. See here, that's why I have given here high availability and the low availability. Ganga Brahmaputra plains, coastal plains have abundant shallow groundwater due to the high rainfall, flat, porous and alluvial things. Now, the Rajasthan region do not have the high rainfall. That's why they do not have the water availability. Low availability, peninsular plateaus and desert areas have limited groundwater at depths greater than the 100 meters and also due to the low rainfall and then because of the rock patterns also. So, where do we utilize the maximum groundwater? In the Punjab and Haryana, especially because of the tube well irrigation. So just you bore wells, they will establish the bore well. Just you on the water will keep flowing, and you have also free electricity in these states. So farmers are not aware. Turn on water, boom, keeps going, and they will do the flood irrigation. They will cause the floods in the local area, and this is also damaging the crops. Over irrigation is also causes the problems to your soil. Okay, salinization, alkalinization, because this water finally gets evaporated, minerals get deposited there, calcium, these kind of minerals, and they will increase the salinity and the alkalinity of the soil. That's why over irrigation is also not good. Water problem, water crisis, soil problem, and your groundwater is also getting affected. So this is about the things here. See here, hard geological aquifers cover 65% of the Indian aquifer area, primarily the central peninsula, low permeability, non-replenishable, prone to the depletion. Alluvial aquifers, these areas have the very good amount of the groundwater, but they are affected by the over-exploitation. Okay. So, see now if you can see here, 16% or 60% of the groundwater units are safe, but nearly 17% of the groundwater blocks are over-exploited, and so 4% is in critical condition and 14% is in the semi-critical position. So at least know that 17% of the groundwater is in a very critical state, very highly critical state, and 4% and 14%. So it is totally 18%. So your 30% of the groundwater, they are in the very harmful conditions. They are facing different types of the threats. Now we will study what are the threats that are being faced by the groundwater. So are we clear? But so far are we clear? Everyone online. Sai Vamshi, is it clear now? Mohan Kalyan, Hemalata, Sonia, Nandini, everyone here, so far it is clear. So groundwater, next class I'll ask, where are the areas that are known for the groundwater? 3 areas. Generally when we draw the map, we'll draw the map simply like this. Whenever I have to show a kind of question on the groundwater, I'll draw the India map. We have to draw the map within less than 45 seconds in the exam hall. Okay, now I'll draw like this. High, low, rest is medium. So for the high, I'll represent like this. For the low, I'll represent like this, and rest as a medium. So now you put it as a high. This delta parts. Okay, then low parts we can draw like this, because there are hardly any water, dry conditions. This is your Bundelkhand part, and then your Tamil Nadu part. This is a very hard lithology. Then you have the Bastar here. Then in between these parts, where you have the very hard lithology. There we are drawing this thing in the Rift Valley part, Narmada Tapi Rift Valley. Okay, then remaining we can consider as a kind of medium. Okay, so this is how I'll draw. So when I give this thing groundwater distribution in India, so for every geography diagram there is a requirement of this thing. So I'll make sure I'll draw this thing in 30 seconds. I'll draw a little bit smaller diagram. That's how. This is enough for the exam point of. They'll understand that is India. Okay, that is enough. So now what kind of problems that are faced by the groundwater? Problems faced by the groundwater. So first thing, huge discharge of pollutants. Huge discharge of pollutants through solid waste management, poor solid waste management. This is the household. Your whatever the household waste is there, that is being dumped there. Then what else? Your industrial waste, biomedical waste, industrial waste, biomedical waste, your landfills. We'll come to there later on. First we have to talk about the discharge of the pollutants. చెత్తంతా తీసుకెళ్ళి ఎక్కడో చోట డంప్ చేసేస్తున్నారు, ల్యాండ్ ఫిల్స్. ఫ్రమ్ దేర్ ద పొల్యూటెంట్ వాటర్ ఇస్ ఎంటరింగ్ ఇన్ టు ద గ్రౌండ్. వీఆర్ అగైన్ డ్రింకింగ్ ద సేమ్ వాటర్. The waste is not getting segregated. All the biomedical waste, all the types of the waste, harmful waste, all those things are getting developed. Then again agriculture runoff. So many fertilizers, pesticides are being sprayed. Now whenever there is a irrigation, huge irrigation through water, those fertilizers, pesticides also get mixed up with the water and then finally enter into the ground. So through these ways, and also mining, another area, and also mining. This is another way through which your groundwater is getting polluted. So far are we clear? This is one reason we have huge discharge of the pollution. Then everything, when we say landfill, they are dumping everything there. In the APPSC PYQ, they have asked what are the landfills, positives and negatives of the landfills. APPSC 2016 or 18, they have asked for the means. Landfills means dumping sites. Usually they have to be scientifically managed. How do you scientifically manage? At your home, segregate the waste. Solid waste, organic waste, non-organic waste, electronic, biomedical. So what generally happens? All the medicines, leftover medicines, bulbs, agriculture material, all those things, no segregation is happening. If you segregate it, then biomedical things should be treated properly. Electronic items should be treated properly because they have mercury, cadmium, all these things, nickel, cobalt, all these things, elements are there. They are required for your economy also. They are required for the recycling also. If they enter into the groundwater, they cause harmful toxins. Now all these things are getting into the landfills, and there are poor management. You are just burning them. Huge harmful gases can be released, and people will also die in nearby areas. Poor mismanagement is happening. Rather than this, segregate at the source itself. Medical waste separately you send them. Electronic waste separately you send them. Organic waste you send them separately. For the reason we will discuss this green economy, methanol economy. Now we are going to discuss. Okay, you can utilize those things. This is what they required. Okay, but that is not happening. It is causing huge toxic pollution. Are we clear? Mining, you want to you want to extract the coal resource. Okay, you are going deep and mining. So all the pollution that is causing in the upper layers, how do we generally, you can't just take and go like this, right? You need to dig deeper. So you are breaking the upper layers, eroding. So huge amount of the dust is being generated. Once you do the mining, that area has to be properly closed. Again, it has to be filled. But generally in India, that does not happen. You do it in an unscientific way, mining and all. So when you do the mining and all, so all the nearby rocks get eroded. Those metals, heavy elements of the mining related metals and all, they get infiltrated in the groundwater. So are we clear? This is one reason. Now second reason. Second reason is this is digging deep bore wells. Digging deep bore wells. When you dig deep bore wells, your deeper part of the ground has toxic radioactive elements, chemically harmful elements. Upper layer, unsaturated layer, it is fine. You are getting deeper into the saturated layer to get more and more water. You have exhausted the upper layers, now you want more and more water. So as you go beneath in the lower layers, so from here you are getting into the lower layers have the harmful chemicals and the metals. They are entering into your water table. So when you dig deeper bore wells, you are extracting, you are touching the harmful chemicals that are present in the groundwater, especially radioactive elements are also there. Is this point clear? Then third point. The point is sometimes, okay, so like this, if this is here in this, here for suppose this is the sea water. Sometimes what happens is this sea water will also enter into the groundwater. Assume this is surface water, instead of surface water, assume this is sea water. Here the groundwater levels are very high, but sometimes there could be a scenario, okay, where the groundwater level falls, the lower level falls, and because of the erosion, the sea water enters into the groundwater. This part is getting eroded. This is a sea, and here the water table is already lowered because you are extracting more and more water. Now from the sea, because here you have the lower level, here you have the higher level, water naturally moves from this to this here. So because of the movement of the sea water to the groundwater, the water is becoming more and more saline. Clear? Are we clear? Okay, write down. Intrusion of sea saline water. Saline water because of coastal erosion. Because of coastal erosion and overexploitation of groundwater. Overexploitation of groundwater. Then poor policy issues. Do not forget this. First thing is a Land Easement Act. Land Easement Act, very important. As per the Land Easement Act, if I purchase the property of that land, whatever the groundwater that is present in my property belongs to me. That should not happen ideally, right? So if I purchase the land, the water also belongs to me. So with this, what is happening? The farmer has purchased that land, power facility free. All the groundwater is available to him. So they are extracting more and more groundwater. Land Easement Act. Second thing is a free power policy. Free power policy. Land Easement Act. So along with the land, the water beneath that land also belongs to the person, if a person purchases the land. So these are the two faulty policies. And we do not also have the proper aquifer mapping. I told you these are the potential regions of the groundwater. But At the micro level, they are not sure whether the aquifers here, they hold the water or not. There is no proper aquifer mapping. So we have not yet done the proper aquifer mapping. Now, what is the fifth reason? What are the aquifers that we have discussed now? Those are the rocks, stones which absorb the hold the water. So where are these aquifers? How much water they are holding? We do not have the data. No aquifer mapping. Next thing is urbanization and deforestation. I told you so many times. Concrete lands, clearing of the forest. This is increasing the runoff. Trees are not available to hold the roots to hold the water. So that slowly the water enters into the ground. This is not happening. So because of this thing also, this is a landscape change, land use change. Your groundwaters are getting depleted. This is another problem. So are we clear? 5 points. Are we clear? So rest you can easily talk those side points. Change of the river patterns, global warming, sinking of the glaciers. So those things anyway we can add. But these are the core points that you are supposed to talk. This is how the groundwater is getting affected. See here. What are the threats to groundwater according to Niti Aayog? So here contamination is happening because the lower So the lower rocks are having the chemicals. So because of that contamination is happening, and then because of the over extraction, okay, so much of the water is getting affected. Erratic rainfall, urbanization, which I have discussed, agriculture, they are also exploiting more and more water. See, this was the article they have that has appeared in the news. Now all this is a pollutant. All this thing they have that should be not more than 1 point. Okay, through mining, urban municipal waste, naturally because of the rock weathering, industrial waste, agriculture waste. All these are the 1 point under that sub point. Pollutant we have discussed. Within that as a sub points that we have given. Okay, so what would be the consequences? This can be very important for the prelims. They will ask fluorosis. Okay, from the fluoride, arsenosis, skin lesions and the cancer. Okay, by the arsenic. Methanoglobinemia, blue baby syndrome from the nitrates. Kidney damage can also happen. Neurological issues can also happen from the heavy metals and the uranium. Gastrointestinal problem from the pathogens. Remember this. The impacts we are talking about. Social problems, rural distress, groundwater is not available. So you are not getting clean water, drinking water, sanitation. All the hygiene is getting affected. So you might get more diseases because there is no healthy water. Hygienic water is not available, which is a prime requirement. So you might get environmental degradation, rural poor women. So like they have said, okay, Nandini and Navya are fighting with each other. So women will be the one who is going to face a severe stress. That's why, because that is natural in the rural areas. Generally, women will be taking care of the household things. Okay, so women is the one who is going to face generally very huge. So many articles will come in the down to earth and all. Women are traveling very far to get one bucket of the water. That is a really very painful scenario. Okay, so if these things are not controlled, this is going to happen in India in the many things. So these are the consequences. Remember this thing, blue baby syndrome from the nitrates. Like this, they will ask methanoglobinemia, kidney damage, fluoride is linked to arsenic is linked to what? So these things. Okay, we have the Central Groundwater Board and there are various measures that are required. Apart from this, they will also ask you the schemes. See, you have the Central Groundwater Authority and the Central Groundwater Board. This is how we have to write: institutional mechanism, technical mechanisms, policy initiatives. So remember, very important question: Central Groundwater Authority, Central Groundwater Board. This is a statutory body created through the Environmental Protection Act. This is an autonomous body. This is not a statutory body. Authority is a statutory body. This is not the statutory body. Okay, so we have started this National Aquifer Management and the Mapping and the Management Program. Then we have the Central Water Commission. There was a Mihir Shah committee which has recommended having only one body instead of having the Central Groundwater Commission and the Central Groundwater Board and the Central Water Commission. Have the Central single body without the surface water and the groundwater. Okay, then this thing Atal Bhujan Yojana. This Atal Bhujan Yojana is also very important. Then here Amrut Mission. So go through these schemes. Okay, where they are talking about the Jal Jeevan Abhiyan, where they are talking about the recharge of the groundwater. Okay, and then Atal Bhujan Yojana, how they are able to targeting the sustainable management of the your groundwater in the different areas. You can go through those things. So some schemes that I have that are supposed to be done, I have added there. Just go through those schemes, understand what is the essence of that scheme. So are we clear? So I have tried to cover I don't think anything you need more on the groundwater. Groundwater is done. Some other day I will talk about the surface water. Once we do the surface water, why we have the water stress? So on the water stress, we have the quantity as well as the quality issues. Quality, all these things which I have discussed. The same surface water also, both quantity as well as the quality. How the quality is getting affected, again same thing, agriculture issues, runoff, industrial issues, dumping, poor solid waste and all, see your Ganga, all those things, and also invasive species, water hacking. This was in the news. These water hackings enter into the lake areas, okay, and they will block the nutrient availability in that water hacking. Okay, already UPSC has asked the P by Q. They are going to destroy the local ecosystem of that area, invasive species. Apart from the general quality and then shifting of the rivers, all those things, that's easy. We can easily do. So we have covered the water resources. Okay, some other day I will cover the surface water, and then we will also do the watershed management one day. That will take care of our water related aspects, everything that we have done, that will take care of it. So far, are we clear? Everyone? So this is your resources part of your geography or environment. Mostly I'll only come for your environment. Okay, so there definitely I'll ask. Okay, again I'll ask. I'll come for the environment. Okay, most probably. Pollution and all. Everyone clear? Okay, take 5 minutes break and then then I will start this part. We have to finish off this part. Just only 5 minutes. Last week. మేము రివిజన్ చేయాలి 2 weeks. Okay. Neha. మీ పేరు అంజలి. ఓహో, మీరు ఇక్కడే అంటారా? మరి ఎలా ఆన్లైన్ నుంచి ఇక్కడికి ఎలా చేస్తారు? మధ్యలో ఆన్లైన్లో ఓపెన్ చేస్తారా? ఓకే ఓకే. సాయి అంటే మీరే కదా? తను కదా? మీరు రాకేష్. ఓకే, సాయి అంటే ఇక్కడ ఉన్నారు. మీరు ఆన్లైన్లో నుంచి ఇక్కడ వచ్చేసారేమో అనుకున్నాను. సాయి వంశీ. ఓకే. ఈరోజు ఆప్షనల్ లేదు కాబట్టి ఐ కెన్ ఫినిష్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ థింగ్. 4 o'clockకి లేదు కదా, సో ఒక హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ కొద్దిగా ఎక్స్టెండ్ అయినా కానీ లెట్స్ ఫినిష్డ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ థింగ్. వై టు ఓకే, నేను చెప్తాను క్లాస్కి. We have done comprehensively about the ASEAN and about the groundwater. We have to finish off. సినిమా చూసారా? కూలీ వార్ టూ చూస్తారా? ఆన్లైన్ స్టూడెంట్స్ కూడా చూస్తారా? రెండు రావట్లేగా, రెండు సినిమాలు. కూలీ ఇంకా పెద్ద రాడ్ అనిపించింది. ఆశ్రిత్ ఈరోజు కూడా క్లాస్కి రాలేదంటే ఆశ్రిత్ ఇంకో రెండో రౌండ్ వేసాడేమో ఆశ్రిత్. ఇంకా ఆశ్రిత్ ఈరోజు క్లాస్లో ఆన్లైన్లో కూడా లేడు ఆశ్రిత్. నేను నిఖిల్ ఆశ్రిత్ సెకండ్ రౌండ్లో ఉన్నాడా మూవీ? చూద్దాం ఏమొచ్చింది. ఓకే, లెట్ మీ చెక్. ఏదైనా మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ప్రిడామినెంట్ ఏదైనా ఉంటే అది ఇంకా ఆర్ఎల్స్ చిన్న చిన్న ఆర్టికల్స్ అట్లా మ్యాటర్ చేయదు. ఓకే, విల్ స్టార్ట్. So why this thing is in news? So we are going to start a new topic. See, biofuels, very important for our science and technology as well as the economy point of view. Okay, this part, this section. So we are going to cover in detail about the biofuels. So we are going to cover about the ethanol, methanol, and also green hydrogen. Again, this itself becomes very comprehensive enough for your UPSC mains exam as well as the prelims exam. So we need to understand. So currently this thing, the contest here is the government is talking about the 27% of the blending of ethanol with your regular fuels. Currently they have said we have already blended 20% of your petroleum with the ethanol. Now we want to scale up. 27% of your petrol will be blended with the ethanol. So in this context we need to understand why this ethanol, what is this ethanol, what is this ethanol based fuels, what are the biofuels. So we'll try to cover everything in a holistic manner. So this is the context. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched petrol blended with a 20% ethanol. Speaking at an event, said India has already achieved its target of 20% ethanol blending. In Brazil, the ethanol blending is 27%. We want to also scale up to the 27%. See this sugar, starch, cellulose, all those things, they are finally converted using the plant into the ethanol. See this E20 program, nothing but the 20% of the blending up of your regular oil with the ethanol, a biofuel derived from the agriculture feedstocks. It was introduced as per the National Policy on Biofuels. So we are also going to study the National Policy on the Biofuels. Okay, first let me come to the what are the biofuels. Simple one line. These are the solid, liquid and gaseous fuels derived from the organic matter. What are the biofuels? Bio itself means organic material. Solid, liquid, gaseous fuels derived from the organic matter. See here, organic matter, that is a biomass. All those, wherever the living matter is there, organic matter is there, you can use that to generate the solid fuel, liquid fuel and gaseous fuel. When you generate these things, then they become the bioethanol, biodiesel and the biogas. If you see, wherever this organic material that has a sugar in it, through the fermentation of the sugar, you can generate the ethanol. So wherever your biomass has the sugar in this, through using that thing, you can generate the ethanol. If you have the oil in that, like say Indonesia, they are using the coconut oil to generate the biodiesel. You can also burn this biomass to generate a syngas, which is a biogas. Today we will also going to discuss about these concepts as well. So you can generate the solid fuel, liquid fuel and the gaseous fuel in order to generate the biofuels. Okay, so this is how the classification is done. Bioethanol, biodiesel. So they will see here from the vegetable oils or the animal fats. through the fermentation of the carbohydrates, you will get the bioethanol. Currently, we are talking about the bioethanol, not biodiesel. Biogas from anaerobic digestion of the organic waste. Anaerobic means absence of the oxygen. Aerobic means in the presence of the oxygen. We have discussed the process of pyrolysis, where we are burning the organic material. We have discussed this thing during the charcoal. When discussing about the charcoal, we have said organic matter will be burnt. The leftover solid part is the charcoal, and the gas byproduct is the syngas. Again, through that syngas, through some other distillation process, you can generate the methanol. Today we will see that. Okay. So there are also different generations. So what are we saying? We are saying use of the organic material which has the carbohydrates, sugar to generate the biofuels. Now, some people, so they are saying, like say your rice, your sugarcane, your wheat, they also have the sugar, carbohydrate in that. Can they use it as a biofuel? Right? They can also be burnt and utilized as a biofuel. But what about the food security? We want rice and wheat for our own consumption. So when you use the food sources directly to generate the biofuel is the first generation of the biofuel. Next, the second generation, here you will use those stocks which are not used for the consumption purposes, rotten. They have out of state for their consumption, non-food sources. Okay, then you will call it as a second generation. Okay, for suppose the third generation, you will generate the biofuel using the agriculture waste or algae, not the agriculture waste. Second part is the agriculture waste. Here the algae and the microorganisms. In the fourth generation, you will also genetically modify this algae to generate more and more fuels. These are the fourth generation of the biofuels. Currently, we are in the only second stage. We have not even entered into the third or fourth stage. This is only theory. 4 stages of the biofuel. So, are we clear what are biofuels? What is biofuel? Anjali? Single line. What is biofuel? Try. అయ్యో ఇప్పుడే చెప్పాను చెప్పాలి use of organic matter to generate the solid liquid gaseous fuels is called the biofuels. Okay, so tell me how the bioethanol is generated or ethanol is generated through sugar. Okay, through fermentation process of the sugar or carbohydrates. Transesterification of the oil gives us biodiesel. Okay, so this is the process. When you burn the organic matter in the absence of oxygen, then you will get the biogas. 4 generations. By heart it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not by heart. What is the food sources, non-food sources, algae and microalgae, and 4th generation is GMO. That's it. 4 generations. These are the through source we are dividing. Now now see here. The bioethanol can be generated using first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. When we are generating using the first generation, it is causing conflict with the food security because we have to utilize rice for our consumption. Sugarcane, they are the water intensive. So now recently they have said we are storing so much of the foods under the Food Corporation of India storage houses. Most of the food is getting rotten. Why not use those things? Use products that are excess. If you have generated a sugarcane in excess more than what is required, then you use it for the biofuel. So you need the feedstock like maize, fodder. If you have the excess fodder, that is the second generation, which is not for the food sources, which cannot be consumed by the human. Those things can be used as a generation of the bioethanol. Okay. So in the later stages, we can also use the algae, but currently we do not have the technology in this thing. So with this is a new technology. So you guys tell me, based on this thing, where are we thinking, where are we searching? Where are we searching for the new forms of the fuels like biofuel? Tell me broadly in general, whatever it is, biofuel, whatever is ethanol or methanol or green hydrogen, whatever it is, where are we looking for this? What is the significance of this thing? Tell me the first major thing that comes to your mind.
We are completely dependent.
Right. To reduce the import dependency, to decrease the import dependency. That is a crucial point. By 2047, we want to have that energy security. We don't want to depend on any country. We want to do 2 things, carbon neutrality by 2070, and by 2047 we want to decrease our reliance on the foreign countries for our energy purposes. Currently more than 60% we are importing the oil. So to reduce the import dependency, then environmental. Tell me, online people, Nandini, Hemalata. Environment, how it is beneficial for the environment?
the fields we are using
Hmm.
bio.
So these fossil fuels are generally released as more greenhouse gases. Fossil fuels release more greenhouse gases compared to this biofuels. Right? Fossil fuels means generally your crude oil that is derived from the fossil fuels. These are the fuels that are generated through the organic waste. You are using the poor agriculture, rotten foods and all to generate the fuel. So now this thing, tell me, think of more point. Can it help the rural economy? Farmers will get the additional income. So rural development, farmer upliftment, rural development, farmer upliftment. Farmer upliftment, and we can also meet our INDC international targets. COP21, we have promised something, net neutrality. We will reduce our carbon intensity. So our INDC targets can also be met because we are releasing less greenhouse gases. Right? Accepted. So far everything accepted. Accepted. Clear. See this import reduction. 1 crore liters of the E10 saves 28 crore in the forex, 150 crores save the 4,000 crore. Cleaner environment. Okay, 20,000 tons of the carbon dioxide will be reduced by just blending 10% of the bioethanol. E10 means 10% blending. By just 10% blending, we are reducing 20,000 tons of carbon dioxide, and here we are saving 4,000 crore. Okay, E20 2025 saves 10 to 17 billion dollar per year. Can you imagine the benefits? Huge. Okay, health benefits. Using the cooking oil for the biodiesel prevents its reuse in the foods, reducing the health risks. So you cannot generally whatever the oil is there, what the people do, they don't want to waste it. So you go to the restaurant house, bro, you take this money, you give us oil, we'll use it for the production of the biodiesel. You don't use it and damage our hearts and lungs. Okay, so by deposition of the cholesterol and all. Okay, so then reusing of the oil will be reduced because that oil can be used for the generation of the biodiesel. So this will improve the health benefits. Previously I told you organic waste is being dumped anywhere, wherever they want. Now you collect this organic waste. Why to waste? Why to utilize? Why not utilize them properly? Now I am collecting the organic waste from the agriculture area, from the household, your tomatoes, all those things I am taking up. Now I am setting up the industries for those refinery industries. So with these two things, your waste management issue resolved. And second thing, by setting up industries, I am also creating more jobs. So job creation, employment creation, solid waste management issues resolved. So one shot, many bots. Rural investment, employment, farmer income. Are we clear? The same, these are the advantages for all the your biofuel economy, green economy, all those things.
So right now we are using 20% of ethanol. So then why petrol prices are not coming down?
We are blending in a few things, but still overall the taxes we have not reduced. Okay, even in the blending part, then on the final part we are applying the same thing.
Ethanol price also will be higher, or it will be what? The price factor.
The price probably it should be high only, but because only thing is that here not the price issue. The price here for us the advantage is we don't have to depend on the import thing. The price currently it is high only because we are actually sourcing it through the agriculture products, and also we are also involving in this production process and so on. That is also one of the challenge because we have to set up a completely new refinery through those organic matter. You have to collect and you have to set up the plants and you have to generate the fuel. Okay, that is,
if we go for ethanol 27 as Brazil, then prices won't.
we have to upgrade our technology. In the current scenario, that becomes very challenging. That's what we are going to discuss in the challenges. Currently, we do not have that level of the feedstock and the technological availability. Emerging technologies are costly, and there is lack of infrastructure for the biofuel distribution. That is a major concern. Currently, we are not able to enhance our technology to make it at a cheaper price. That is a problem. See, that's why, as per the national biofuel policy, governments, there is a PM Jeevan Yojana, Jan Jeevan Yojana. Okay, where viability cap funding. For suppose if I have to set up an industry in order to generate the biofuel, government will give me the additional money to support to make my project viable. Currently, we do not have that level of technology with us. Okay, and now see, they are saying E20 and all. So if the fuel is used, not every bike can take the capacity. Your engines, if they are very old, some 10 years, 7 years, 10 years old, then there can be a corrosion and your engine get damaged. So are we having that level of capacity? The new engines, can they take the support of the 27 level of the blending, 27% of the blending? Can they do or not? Okay, this is also another aspect that we need to check. And again, for suppose if you are using sugarcane, all these products to generate the energy, again sugarcane is a highly water intensive. So you need to make sure that you are using the second generation products where it is not coming in the conflict with the food security. But again, few people will say, even for the second generation, like say those stocks, or suppose fodder, maize you are developing, or oil seeds you are developing, even for that area also you need to allot land. You are compromising some land for the food. You have to allot the land. Okay, you are not taking away directly food products. But because if the revenue is generating more, people might give up the rice production, wheat production, and they may go for the more oil seeds. They may go for the fodder products, maize, like corn in the USA. USA is the largest ethanol producer. They produce it through the corn. Okay, and Brazil through the sugarcane. Now they might come in conflict with the food crops. Commercial crops might come in conflict with the food crops. That is a problem. That is a concern we have. Okay, environmental and the water conservation, land ownership disputes, and the potential negative impacts on the rural economy. This is a possibility.
So they are using sugarcane as the leftover sugarcane.
Wood. Yeah, currently this is what we are saying. If in tomorrow, even they are saying we can use maize, okay, and those which are not water intensive. The thing is, tomorrow, even they are water intensive, less intensive. Instead of producing the food products, I am trying to produce these things because here my returns are good. So again, we are not cultivating that thing. Indirectly, it may cause the concern because I have only 1 hectare of the land. So currently, I am growing rice because these are getting me returns. In the future, this land, instead of going for the rice, I might produce maize. Okay, that may happen. So this is how they are saying the conflict can be rice. Okay, because land availability is also limited. This is in general for the biofuels. So government in the 2018 has also introduced the national biofuel policy. As per this national biofuel policy, they have classified the fuels into the different types. Basic fuels, 1G bioethanol from the basic sugars, basic sugarcane and all, and then biodiesel. Advanced is from the 2G ethanol from agriculture waste, 3G from the algae, and then 4G. Currently we are not into that stage. Currently we are in the only 2G stage. Expanded the feedstocks. So through the 2018 biofuel policy, they can ask direct question. This can be asked even in the state exams, TGBSC, ABBSC. National Biofuel Policy 2018 discuss the features. Okay, so they have expanded the feedstocks, allows the sugarcane juice, sugar beet, sweet sorghum, corn, cassava, damaged grains like wheat, broken rice, and the rotten potatoes unfit for the consumption can also be used for the ethanol, and non-edible oil seeds can be used cooking oil for the biodiesel. Surplus grains, if there are surplus grains, you can use it. But again, coordination is difficult. How can you ensure that currently there is they are meeting the food needs? It is very difficult to bring the coordination between the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Petroleum and all. Okay, yes, there is a surplus, let's move it. It is very difficult on the large scale to make it happen. There is a challenge, another thing. 2G biofuel push. Okay, they are trying to push the part I have mentioned to establish those biorefinery plants. In order to set up the plant, industry, I got the organic waste. To make it a fuel, I need to set up the plant. So they will also provide the viability gap funding. So for this 5,000 crore has been allotted and this supply chain has to be developed. So all this thing, correction, storage, making of the fuel, sending it to the industry and all. So this supply chain has to be properly developed, and for this they have created the institutional ministry. The major important one is they have created a National Biofuel Coordination Committee chaired by the Ministry of the Petroleum and Natural Gas, coordinates with the different ministries like Petroleum, Agriculture, the point which I have mentioned. They have created this thing to make sure that they are coordinating with the various ministries. In the 2022, they have made sure that initially there was a 10% only blending they are talking about. Now they have mentioned the 20%, and this expansion they have done in the later in the 2022. Okay, they have also allowed for the export policy also if we are having the surplus in the local area, and then financial boost also has been done. More money has been also allotted. So they may ask what is the significant, what are the features of the National Biofuel Policy, its significance. Then you have to mention the same challenges, which we have discussed. Okay. So this is about if they ask what is the significance of the biofuel, or generally biofuel policy significance, you will talk about this thing. See this, first generation, second generation, try to replicate these kind of diagrams in the exam. Biofuels, products, and then fourth generation. Now we are talking about the ethanol. Content will be same. You got the broad clarity. It will not be that difficult. See this, now we are talking about the ethanol blended fuel. So previously we had 10, we may take it to the 20%. Some areas also have the 85%. Okay, for this we want flexi fuel engines also. How is the ethanol produced? See here, feedstock. So first you will take the biomass and then convert the starch to the sugars using the enzymes, and then fermentation process, distillation and dehydration. It's not necessary for you, just have an idea for your clarity, that supply chain clarity. You are taking the organic material, then fermentation is going on, then distillation and the dehydration. Distillation is separates the ethanol from the water, removes remaining water using the molecular sieves. Okay, so this industries, this what is required the money, financial thing. So this is how rural employment, job creation, solid waste management will be done. Now, in order to substantiate these points, you need the facts that we have spoken about. How much this month, 20,000 tons of the carbon is stored, saved. Okay, 10 billion will be saved if 20% of the blending is done. So those would be the benefits. Okay. So government said these benefits. See this, energy security, 1.4 lakh crore cumulative savings totally. So far we have saved. This was given in the Hindu article. So Hindu was saying, okay, government is excessively pushing this thing and all, because this Hindu will always try to do some kind of criticisms and all. See, we do not have the technological thing. So your mileage will drop, your engines will get affected, food security, even diversion of grains like maize or rice could inflate the staple prices. They are saying your rice is rotten, not fit for the consumption, and they may divert. This may cause a food security problem. Import dependency, potential need for the food imports. Example, maize, contrary to self-reliance. Now you are saying maize can be produced to generate the bioethanol. Now they import the maize. Okay, so again it may impose the plan. They may cause a problem. Monsoon dependent feedstocks, and then economic burden for the establishment of those distilleries and refineries. Huge money problem, and support subsidies has to be provided. This is what they are saying. So this point important. Top producer is USA using the corn. They do the 8 to 10, 15% of blending. Second largest is the Brazil. They use the sugarcane. 27% blending is done. USA and Brazil together produce 80% of the global ethanol. Very important fact for the prelims. Now go through the government related things. See here, agriculture boost, money will be saved. They cut the greenhouse gases 10 to 15%. So I will write in the same way. So this is easy for me to remember. 10 to 15% gas save. Economic diversification promotes the biofuel innovation, job creation through the distilleries and the farming. Is it any difficult? Easy, right? Very easy. Kada. Easy ne kada. Biofuels ఏముంది ఇందులో? ఆర్గానిక్ మ్యాటర్ తీసుకొని ఫ్యూయల్ జనరేట్ చేస్తున్నారు. బెనిఫిట్స్, ఛాలెంజెస్. నేషనల్ బయోఫ్యూయల్ పాలసీ ఉంది. మళ్ళీ దాని బెనిఫిట్స్ అండి, ఛాలెంజెస్ ఉంది. So we are talking about the ethanol. Clear? Yes, we are doing. Okay, government is, but they are not. That's how we are generating a fuel. Government is providing a viability gap funding. We have the scheme also. See this. This is the scheme. Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Yojana, Ministry of Petroleum. So 20,000 cream to fund 12 second generation ethanol plants. Second generation ethanol plants. So we are also funding this. This scheme will be asked in the prelims. See, this is how we will study. Now in the prelims, the people who have not studied for the mains, they are studying the PM Jeevan scheme. 12% blending. It doesn't make sense. Now, is it any difficult for you to understand this 2G, this scheme? Not at all. Just facts. Simple fact. Ministry of Petroleum, because you know the entire concept of the biofuel. This is Jujubi. Right? Becomes very easy. Govt scheme. Now we have discussed all the organic waste has to be utilized. So the Govt scheme is this thing. Converts the cattle dung organic waste to the biogas. So since it is a rural area, Ministry of Jal Shakti is taking care. Again, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas for the Satat scheme to set up the CBG plants, the biogas plants, to promote the blending in the natural gas, integrates the methanol in the fuel mix. So again, see here, 3,000 plants that you have asked. So currently they are in the operation. In the same way, we are also talking about the National Green Hydrogen Mission. This is by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. For the prelims, you need to focus on the ministries. Solar Energy Corporation of India is a nodal agency. Okay. So this part. So are we clear so far? Are we clear? PM Satat scheme, which ministry? PM Satat scheme, Ministry of Petroleum. National Green Hydrogen Mission, which ministry? National Green Hydrogen Mission, which ministry? Renewable Energy. Okay. Actually, we have done almost half of your biotechnology and space technology and nuclear technology in the science and technology. One day I'll keep only for the revision of those aspects. Once, see, space is done, biotechnology is done, nuclear is done, AI, those advanced technologies, half part is done. Almost majority of your technology aspects is done. Those robotics and all are, they are very, very small parts. Nano, robo, they are just require 2 hours of the class. Okay, so I want you guys to realize the importance, how much we have covered, so that you revise. Okay, so it feels heavy for you to revise because we are covering a lot. Okay, so take little pressure, push more. Now see, so we have done the ethanol. I have taken up the methanol also because we have done this thing previously also. Since ethanol and methanol, let's not make the confusion. I thought let's take up this thing also, even green hydrogen also. So that we covered the chapter of the biofuels. Now methanol is a kind of alcohol. Okay, here it is a sugar alcohol, volatile, a light volatile flammable liquid derived from the fossil fuels. Now I can generate the methanol. Basically, it has various applications. This methanol can be green also or grey also. Grey means through fossil fuels I am generating the methanol. Okay, so this methanol, if I use the organic waste to generate the methanol, then it can also, just like a ethanol, it can also becomes a green and it can reduce your same thing. If they ask the biomethanol, okay, the same advantages will also apply. But usually methanol is always in the news because of the huge tragedy. If you remember, we have discussed this thing, methanol, cheap liquor. Okay, this will give you the high when they merge this thing. Generally, in the cheap liquor they will do. Recently, many people died in the Tamil Nadu and the Punjab and Haryana area. That day I have taken up this discussion. Instead of the normal liquor, they will mix this methanol. This is alcohol. Okay, this enters into your body and through your liver, it becomes a formaldehyde, a harmful toxin chemical. Usually, it is not toxin, but when you take it, in your body, it will become toxin and it will kill the person instantaneously. Currently, your Food Standards Authority of India does not allow it for the food consumption. Through illegal ways, they will utilize it. They will use it to reduce their cost. Okay, people do not know. Okay, somehow they will consume and they will die. To some extent, okay, if it is very, very less percentage, maybe they might get saved. But still, if the percentage goes high, people will die. Okay, there is a difference between the ethanol and the methanol. See here, methanol is synthesized through the gasification or reforming, converting the feedstocks into the syngas. Syngas, remember last time also I told you, syngas means carbon monoxide plus hydrogen. So first, they take the organic material, they will generate the syngas. After generating the syngas, through some kind of conversion, it will be converted to the methanol, a type of the alcoholic fluid. Okay, so here feedstock preparation, then syngas. Syngas, they will ask direct question, carbon monoxide plus hydrogen. Syngas, this can also be used directly for the energy purposes. After the distillation, you will get through the catalysis process, you will get the now see here, your methanol can be generated using the fossil based, coal, natural gas, biomass based, and also various other things. India is focusing more on the coal based because we have a lot of coal. We have coal, huge reserves of the coal. We are the 5th largest reserves. We have the 5th largest reserves of the coal. Now, when you burn the coal, huge amount of the carbon dioxide will be released. Instead of making this thing, you take the coal and do the coal gasification. Side by side, you generate the methanol. This is what Niti Aayog plans, the methanol economy. Niti Aayog wants the methanol economy. But currently, we do not have the technology for the coal gasification setup of the plants also. This process is becoming so costly. So, we are not able to currently go through. So, we want to make it methanol based economy through these 3 things, fossil and the biomass. We are not yet in this stage. Generation of the methanol using the biomass. Currently, we are using this fossil based, but even there also we do not have the sufficient level of the distillation technologies, coal gasification technologies with us. We do not have the industrial setup that is costly process so far. Okay, so that is only in the theory. See here, coal based methanol. Example, one plant has been set up in the Assam's Namru plant. Now, this can be asked in the prelims. This is a famous. When we say methanol based economy, so Assam's Namru plant should come. Biomass based gaining traction for the sustainability. So, what is methanol economy? A Niti Aayog initiative to produce methanol, a low carbon hydrogen carrier fuel from high ash coal, agriculture residue, carbon dioxide from the thermal plants and the natural gas. So, it is an initiative of the Niti Aayog to produce a methanol, which is a low carbon. So, basically, when you use the methanol as a fuel, just like a blending, the way we have done the ethanol blending, it will utilizes the fuel burning very high efficiently and releases less amount of the carbon dioxide. It burns very efficiently. Poor burning will release the carbon dioxide, anything. But this will burn very efficiently. Reduces the same thing, import bill, greenhouse gases, okay, and convert waste into the methanol for the multiple process. So transport, energy. No, I don't have to get into all these things. Again, I can use the same framework where we have studied about the biofuels. Okay, see 15% they want to do the blending in the gasoline and 20% blend in the LPG gas, saves the 6,000 crores. See again, same thing, economic benefits. It reduces the greenhouse gases by 20%, aligns with the COP target. Methanol stoves. So they want to blend it with your regular LPG stoves. So much costly, right? Your gas cylinders, they are very costly. We are supplying the gas cylinders through which scheme? PM Ujjwala scheme. Okay, Ujjwala scheme. They are providing the LPG cylinders for the socio-economic user, whoever the backward, using the socio-economic gas sensors. Now you can blend this thing. You can blend the regular gases with the methanol. This will save a lot of greenhouse gases, save so much of the money for the economy also. Right? This is how we have to utilize.
So how the price will reduce?
We have to work on the cost for that. Currently it is costly. That is the thing we are suggesting, a challenge. This can do the thing. Significance. By 2047, we want to make ourselves energy security. Dependency has to be reduced. If we start from now, if we invest in the technologies, we are saying these are the potential. This is not yet in the force. These are the potential things, the significance. If we can do this thing, if we achieve this thing, then it can happen.
What are the usage of methanol?
They are used for the industries also. Okay, they are like say generally apart from the energy purposes, they are used in the industrial applications also for the manufacturing of the various other chemicals and all. Okay, so methanol has advantages there also. See this, methanol serves as a feedstock for the chemicals like formaldehyde and acetic acid, supporting the industries like plastic and the paints. Expected this question. Okay, creates jobs in the coal rich states, that is a different thing. Okay, even the emerging as a green fuel for the shipping, solvent in the paints, adhesives. Okay, these parts. So these are the various impacts of the methanol based economy. Significance of the methanol economy. So currently research level is going on. See this, various things, Indian Oil Corporation and all, they are involved in the research and doing the blending and all. See, Department of the Biotechnology sanctioned research and development to the IISc Bangalore and the Praj Industries to do this level of research in the 2019. Now, you need to have the clarity about the methanol and the ethanol. Toxic industrial alcohol, unfit for the consumption. This is consumable, used in the beverages and the fuel. Synthetic from syngas, fermented from the sugars. Through syngas, it is being generated. Solvents used in the paints, vanishes, they are used in the methanol, ethanol blended petrol and all. Highly toxic. They are intoxicating, not that toxic. Okay, this is a very important. They are via liver metabolism to the formaldehyde and then formic acid, then you will die. It was regulated using the Manufacture and Storage of the Imports of the Hazardous Chemical Rules, Poisons Act 1990, banned in prohibition of certain states. They are regulated through the Food Safety Standards Act and the National Biofuel Policy. Okay, see your Food Safety Standard Act regulations and then Manufacturing Storage of the Hazardous Chemical Rules, Poisons Act, Prohibitions Act. Now this is a UPSC, not a CDS PYQ. Okay, so okay, you have seen the answer. See, methanol, this was a question given in the CDS. Now this thing should give us the idea how we should prepare for the thing. Methanol coagulates. It is main important point is it itself does not cause any kind of harm. So these things, these are not directly. Methanol coagulates to the protoplasm. Methanol gets oxidized to the methanol in the liver, which coagulates to the protoplasm. This is the right one. Okay, it itself directly does not get become the methanol gets oxidized to acetic acid in the liver. This is ethanol, which coagulates to the protoplasm. Methanol is oxidized to carbon monoxide in the liver, which causes cellular damage. No, only two options is right. Okay, it gets converted into the formaldehyde. Methanol is not oxidized. This is acetic acid. Okay, so this is about your methanol. In the same way, government has also launched the green hydrogen. We have discussed this thing previously also. There are three types of the hydrogen: grey, blue, and the green hydrogen. When you generate hydrogen using coal or lignite, which are carbon intensive, then we will call it as a grey. But when you generate hydrogen, which is through while generation of the hydrogen as a fuel, whatever the carbon is getting carbon is coming out, you are capturing and storing them. through carbon capture and carbon storage mechanism. This is called the blue hydrogen. These, at least they are like a carbon neutral technologies. You are not at least releasing the more carbon dioxide in the space. Now green hydrogen, again use of the same organic material, or generally through electrolysis. How the hydrogen is generated? You have the water now, you put it in a electrolyzer, you supply the electricity. Okay, but electricity has to come from the renewable energy. So through using the renewable energy, you are generating the more and more hydrogen. Hydrogen is also required currently for the generation of the fuel, ammonia. It is used even in the different fertilizers, diammonium phosphate fertilizers. Okay, so this hydrogen is more important. If you generate this hydrogen using the renewable energy, this will reduce your fertilizer cost, reduce your fertilizer subsidies, make your hydrogen green. Okay, it will also reduce the greenhouse gases and all. That's why in Andhra Pradesh you have the both this green ammonia policy and green hydrogen policy. They are going together. If you have seen APPSC mains, if you are prepared for the APPSC mains, there is a green ammonia policy for the Andhra Pradesh and the green hydrogen policy. The reason is this thing. So
Hydrogen making of green hydrogen is costly.
all these are in the theoretical stages only. Okay, all these are the potential benefits currently, not yet in the practice. We have given up the so much mission. Let me show you. I'll come to there. Okay, so all these are very, very costly. It is produced. So first have the clarity. There are the three types of the hydrogen. Role of the hydrogen in the fertilizer industry, like urea, nitrogen production, ammonia synthesis. This hydrogen is very important. Okay, so that's why in order to make sure this is properly utilized, we have come up with a national green hydrogen vision. Through this, we want to make India a supplier of the we want to make. We are not. We want to make a leading producer and the supplier of the green hydrogen. Now this program is going till 2030. Attract the investment, development of the manufacturing capabilities, development of the capabilities, reduction in the dependence of the imported fossil fuels, and supporting the R&D. Ministry of Renewable Energy. Okay, so they will ask in the prelims, which is the ministry that is taking up the National Green Hydrogen Mission. So they are going to take about this. Key features, Ministry of Renewable Energy. Key features, you can go through what kind of framework they are doing. Okay, see this. Now if I come to the significance, again, environmental impact, carbon emission reduction, air quality improvement, economic benefit, job creation, export opportunities. Same thing, same points that we have discussed already. Decentralized power generation. Okay, it can create a strategic position to us. Okay, fertilizer sector will be enriched. But challenges, huge infrastructure cost, production cost. The cost barrier remains high. With California's retained green hydrogen prices reaching $30 per kilogram in 2023, while the target for competitiveness is between $3 and $6. Where is $3 and where is $30? This is the scenario in California. So we want to develop it. Currently, it is very highly costly. The amount of hydrogen which you generate using the electricity, it is high costly than the regular things. So currently we are not in that capacity. Building hydrogen refueling stations for trucks is currently estimated to be 72% more expensive than the electric truck. So that's why we are promoting the e-vehicles. We want to develop these things, methanol economy, hydrogen fuel based economy, biofuel economy, ethanol economy, so that by 2047 we have the target to make ourselves sustainable. Always long-term vision. That's for the long-term vision we have. Okay, in order to maintain this hydrogen is highly flammable. Okay, suddenly bomb. Okay, so that's why we have to make sure we have proper storage and transportation facilities, safety standards, technological competitiveness of your vehicles are there that we have to take care. So what kind of policy and all? See here, this is a national hydrogen mission that is there that you need to go through. Okay. So this is about your biofuel. Any doubt? Any doubt? All of them are interrelated. Clear? So we have done biofuel, we have done bioethanol, then we have done green hydrogen mission. Okay, government recently has allotted budget 2024 National Green Hydrogen Mission till 2030. 5,000 crores they have allotted. That is very less though, but still they are trying to do something gradually. Okay, methanol economy and green hydrogen economy, Niti Aayog is pushing. Okay, so currently also we produce the methanol and the hydrogen, but they are not green. We want to make sure they are green so that our dependency decreases, our carbon emissions reduces. Okay, so this is our intention.
ethanol is an alcohol. It's chemically an alcohol.
The ethanol, see, fermentation of the ethanol only, you will get the beer and all. Okay, yes, definitely they'll use this for the alcohol production, to the fermentation in this process, but not the methanol. Or somehow they are making it. See, Supreme Court, now here we need to understand only this thing. One of the person in the interview, they have mentioned they love pets. These things that are happening. So there is high possibility in the interview they will ask you the question. So what should be done? So here they have announced, the Supreme Court said within 2 weeks all the dogs has to be captured and they have to put in the shelter homes. Okay, they are not talking about the re-releasing of the dogs to the again back to the community. Usually there are 3 policies that should not happen in that way. Currently we do not have that level of capacity. So they may, half the dogs might die. There is a possibility. So that's why environmentalists are fighting against. So what should be the solution? But if you leave it on the road, they are biting us. This is causing problem. Rabies. Rabies is a viral disease. Okay, not everyone might get the symptoms, but once if you get the symptoms, you are gone. If you are not vaccinated or dog is not vaccinated, you are gone. Sometimes post symptoms also we may try, but it is very quick. It will damage your nervous system. Question will come from that area. What is rabies? Bacterial disease or viral disease? It's a viral disease. It will damage your nervous system and you will die. Once the symptoms comes, you are gone. 100% fatality. Before itself, you should have taken the vaccine. Your dog should have vaccinated. So this is zoonotic disease. Through animals, it is being transferred. The virus is saved in the saliva of the animal, primarily dogs. Sometimes it can also happen through the cats. Okay, those domesticated dogs, domesticated cats are vaccinated. These pet dogs are not. Those street dogs are not vaccinated. So usually you have the 3 models: Singapore model, Bhutan model, and the Netherlands model. Okay. So this thing in the Netherlands, what they do is they have a very strong, strict policy. Okay, world's first no steroid drug country. What they do is, using the government strategy, they have taken the dogs, they have neutered, they have fertilized the female dogs, and they have also vaccinated, and then they release back into the, or they will, instead of purchasing the dogs through shops, through retail shops, through this thing fancy shops, they are encouraging dog lovers to buy these stray dogs, to adopt these stray dogs. Okay, and they are also imposing hefty fines. If say you have adopted a dog and if you are releasing them, not leaving them, then it will be tracked who is doing. Then hefty fines, you will be punished. So strong legal mechanism. Okay, in the Bhutan model, such a strong legal thing is not there, but they are making sure they are vaccinating the dogs. They are making sure that these dogs are properly sterilized. So this is the solution. You need to sterilize and vaccinate the dogs and then leave it to the, or else they are causing lot of nuisance, breeding, and they are biting and all. Okay, so make sure that they are getting those things. So we need to have the population control. In the Singapore also, they are making sure whoever the urban communities are there, they are not feeding it randomly. Whenever they feed properly, okay, and all, they get accumulated. The packs get accumulated. So there are guidelines how the dogs has to be fed. Okay, and they are also promoting the adoption, and then again the same thing. So go use suggestions, Netherlands model, Bhutan community-based model. These 2 are enough. Even in the Singapore, they do the tracking. They use some kind of SIMs and all. They track the dogs, and they'll make sure all the dogs are properly vaccinated. Okay, so Netherlands is the first country that has become the rabies-free. So such a kind of model has to be included. Okay, so in India, see here they are sterilized 80% of the dogs. Government programs, traps, nutrients, vaccinated. They are using the microchip dogs before they release. So when they have the data of the dogs, so which dog has been released, whether it is vaccinated or not, they'll do the scanning and they will understand this dog is vaccinated and this dog is not vaccinated. So are we clear? Okay. So one quick topic of the Indus Water Treaty. This is always in the news, right? See here. India, after the this thing has stopped the provision of the water. Now see here, the Indus Manasarovar, Lake Manasarovar, from here the river is originating. If you see here, the Satluj river is also originating from here. It is here you have the Lake Manasarovar. From here itself you have the Kailash. So here this Indus, this is flowing through the Indo-Sanko suture zone. Indo-Sanko suture zone. Suture zone means this is the zone where your Indian plate and the European plate have been converging. This is the plate where the convergence of the 2 different plates has happened. So through this Indus river flows, and it has various rivers, tributaries, which all join in the Pakistan's Pajnad. So what are those rivers? Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Bias, and the Satluj. So these are the rivers. So India has given these things. Indus, Jhelum, Chenab is given to the Pakistan. Ravi, Bias, and the surplus is used by the India. So majority, okay, in the 1960, we thought we want to make good relationships with them. So majority of the river has been given to the Pakistan. Okay, so we cannot utilize the 80% of the river. We have to suppose even in this thing also, if you have to construct any dam, you have to take the permission of the Pakistan. So what are the features of this Indus Water River? Don't worry, you will get these notes. Okay. See these features, eastern rivers. These are India's part. Western rivers given to the Pakistan. Okay, India allowed limited non-consumptive uses for the domestic agriculture. Okay, those things. Storage restrictions are also based on the western rivers, no flow diversion. If any kind of dispute resolution are there, first initially there would be bilateral talks with the Permanent Indus Commission. There would be member of the India, there would be member of the Pakistan. For the initial level of the doubts, there will be Permanent Indus Commission is there. If any further issues between those two countries, World Bank has brokered this treaty in the 1960, and they will resolve the disputes. World Bank will resolve the disputes. If still disputes are not resolved, then Permanent Court of Arbitration. Okay, arbitration means a neutral body, higher level body that will take care of your business related disputes. So this is the mechanism, and no one can come out of the treaty unilaterally. This is the provision. India generally has suspended treaty. India has not completely shut down the treaty. India has only suspended. Why this thing is the news? Because the Pakistan was saying, okay, we will launch missiles if India runs up the dams and all. Okay, so I thought let's take up this topic. Okay, so indefinite. This treaty goes on indefinitely, and data has to be shared. How much Indus water is coming, how much Indus water is going. Currently, we have suspended this treaty because we said, we have not said it because of the war and all. We have said this thing. We said because of the global warming, climate changes, our needs are increasing, changing. This was discussed in the 1960s. We need to revisit this treaty. Since Pakistan is not participating in the wars, so we have suspended this treaty. This is what we have given. We completely don't violate the international norms and the provisions. So we have only suspended this treaty. So as per the treaty, this goes on indefinitely. Modifications needs mutual consent. No unilateral termination. So we have not terminated, we have only suspended. Hague-based PCA will serve as a 7-member court. Okay, this will give the binding decisions. They have already given the binding decisions in various dam projects. These projects can be asked. I have given that data. Okay, why this thing got suspended and all? Because of the security concern recently and all. So what would be the impact on the Pakistan? Relies on the Indus water for 80% of the agriculture. It affects the urban centers like Karachi, Lahore and the Multan. Okay, it threatens 23% of the GDP. Now you can imagine on this, there was hundreds of articles. They have come for the 3 days, 4 days. Is it necessary for us to spend that much of the time? Every time it will go on, time will be wasted. Everything I have compiled at one place. Okay, this is what you need to do. Impact on the India. So more control on the western rivers, boosts our hydro project and the flood management, and strengthens our strategic leverage by limiting the data sharing with the Pakistan. Faces infrastructure limitations, delaying full water diversion capacity. Currently, we have that limitation in order to utilize. We can't construct the dam overnight. It needs capacity. Okay. So why are we considering this thing as unfair? That has done in the 1960s? Because we get only 20% of the water, despite having a large amount of the water basin in our area. Developmental limits. Bars large storage dams on the western rivers, restricting the hydropower. Pakistan objections. Even on the eastern rivers, when we are constructing the dam, they are dragging us to the Permanent Court of Arbitration. So recently, climate change, global warming, droughts, all these things are happening, and it was signed under the economic duress and under the World Bank project, with India funding the Pakistan dams indirectly. Okay, so now what are the various dams under this? See here, Tulbul project. It is on the Jhelum. Just you need to know only this thing. Tulbul, Jhelum, halted in the 1987 over the Pakistan storage. This is what you have to show. How it is affecting our developmental processes. Badlighar Dam on the Chenab, paused in the 2004. World Bank neutral expert ruled for the India 2007 after design tweaks. Again, it has allowed it. Kishan Ganga project, again on the Jhelum. They will ask simply, which dam, which river? Tulbul, Jhelum, Badlighar, Chenab, Kishan Ganga, Jhelum. Shahpur Kandi, very important on the Ravi river. Ratley project, Chenab. Uj project on the Ravi. 6 or 7 is there, must by heart, those dams. See, I have given additional information on those permanent courts and all. So now you also need to have the clarity on this origin and the destination. This is the NCERT thing. Indus River originates in the Lake Manasarovar nearby Kailasar range, primarily in the Pakistan, and then it goes on like this. Jhelum River, very north spring in the Pir range. Okay, and then important dam is Kishan Ganga, Tulbul. Chenab, Balaracha Pass, Himachal Pradesh. You might have studied this thing in the NCERT, right? Ravi River, again Rohtang Pass in the Himachal Pradesh. Bias River, okay, this thing Himachal Pradesh. Again, I have given this Pando Dam. Here it is Theen Dam, Ranjit Sagar Dam. Okay, these are very important. On the surplus also you have the Bakranangal Dam, Nafa Jakri Dam. Please remember, they will ask this kind of question. Origin and the dams, the most important dams that I have given. Okay, so currently this thing, Indus Water Treaty, is in the news. So significance, challenges. Okay, so this thing I have given Western, this significance of the treaty, concerns, all those things. So 2016 post-reactor, India suspended PIC meetings. 2019 post-Pulwama, India maximizes Eastern River uses. India proposes notifies treaties amendment. Okay, so we have done all the things. Okay, so that's all for today.